Hey guys, how's it going? Um, so today I'm going to be showing you guys the SUU football schedule. Let's get it pulled up right now. Let's share my screen. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to be doing an SUU prediction on how I think we're going to do this season and what our record's going to look like, how I see it. All of this is just my opinion. You guys might think differently, but I'm on the SUU T-Bird's website and on the football schedule for this upcoming season. So without further ado, here we go. So our first games, you can see, our first three games are on the road, which is brutal. But our first game is not a Saturday game, it's a Thursday night game, 8 p.m. in Tempe, Arizona at Arizona State. And I know what most of you are thinking. Why are we playing these teams? We're going to get destroyed. Yeah, I mean, you have a good point, but we do get a lot of money. SUU gets a lot of money for playing these big Power Five non-conference games. We get a lot of money for it, even if we get destroyed like we did last year at Utah. But I actually think that we can compete with Arizona State. If you don't remember, we played Arizona State 2 years ago, our worst season ever, and we were 1-10. We played a ranked 25 ranked Arizona State team, and we lost. I think it was 41-14 was the final score of that game 2 years ago. And that was our worst season ever. And Arizona State was better 2 years ago than they are now. Arizona State, in my opinion, is worse now than they were 2 years ago. And in my opinion, SUU is better now than what we were 2 years ago. A new coach, new coaching staff. Half of the team is different, or maybe most of the team is different than that team. But we were 1-10. We only lost 41-14. And at one point it was like 27-14 in that game. So I feel like we can compete. At halftime, it might be almost tied, I feel like, but I don't think SUU will win this game, but we will lose within 20 points. I can promise you that. Arizona State's supposed to be maybe the worst Power Five team in the country this year. So I don't think we're gonna win, but I do think we can put up at least 20 points on them. I think the score might be like Arizona State might score like 45, and then we might score like 28 or something like that. I could see that happening. Our offense is going to be really good this year. I bet we lose 45-28, but you never know. It would not surprise me if we pulled off this upset at Arizona State. It would not surprise me. I don't think we will. At halftime, it might be around tied, or maybe we'll be losing by one score at halftime, and then Arizona State will pull away slowly in the second half. 45-28, I'll say, Arizona State. Now to the next game. And that Arizona State game, by the way, is on the Pac-12 network. That's the only channel I believe it's on is the Pac-12 network. RIP Pac-12. And then the next game, September 9th, at least we'll have, I think, 9 days off until our next game. So our next game is in Provo. I don't feel as confident in this game. 1 p.m. Can't remember. I think it might be like on ESPN 3, or maybe it'll be on the BYU TV channel. I don't think it's on any ESPN or, stuff like that. But I don't think we're gonna beat BYU. BYU will be at least the same good as they were last year, but they are in the Big 12 now. I think we're going to lose. I think we'll put up at least a couple scores on them, but you never know. If you guys watched Utah Tech last year, Utah Tech almost beat BYU last year. Utah Tech almost beat BYU. I mean, it was like tied at halftime last year. But of course, that was when BYU was struggling the second half of the season. Dixie State, Utah Tech actually got fire last season. But I don't think we're gonna win. I think the final score will be like BYU like 52 and SUU maybe like 21, something like that, like 52-21. It won't be as bad as the Utah loss. I can probably promise you that. Our loss to BYU won't be as lopsided as the Utah loss last year. That's about I can give you though. Not much to talk about there. Then at UC Davis. another road game. UC Davis is an FCS team. They used to be in our conference in the Big Sky back when we were in the Big Sky a couple years ago. They're usually a pretty good FCS football team. If we could somehow win this game, in my opinion, if we can win one of these first three road games, just one, that would be a win for us. Like, I know you would want to have a winning road trip, but maybe we could somehow pull off an Arizona State win and a UC Davis win, maybe, but it's pretty unlikely. The best chance is us winning one of these three road games. Doesn't mean we're going to be bad this year. It's just this competition early on is just really tough. If the UC Davis game was home, I would almost guarantee a win if the UC Davis game was home, but it's on the road. I mean, I think the UC Davis game is going to be close. It's going to be kind of like, an Eastern Kentucky type game last year when we lost by one score. I think we're going to lose. I'm just being realistic. I hope we win, and I think we can win. But just with that home field advantage, I'm going to give a slight edge to UC Davis. But hopefully SUU can prove me wrong early in the season. But I think the score will be like, yeah, I'll say 31 to 24 UC Davis. That's what I'll say with that game. So we'll be 0-3, a brutal start, but it does not mean we're going to have a bad season. Once conference season starts, it's going to be different, I promise you. And then September 23rd, it's a Saturday. It's finally a home game in Echoes Coliseum, 6 p.m. night game against Western Illinois. We beat Western Illinois last year at Western Illinois. I don't think it's a conference game, but if we won at Western Illinois last year, we beat them 17-10 on a last minute or 2 minute touchdown drive. If we can beat at Western Illinois, I feel pretty confident that we can beat them at home. But Western Illinois will probably be a little bit better than what they were last year too. So um yeah, but I think we're gonna win. I don't know if this is our homecoming game. We have we have two home games in a row late in September. I don't know if our September 23rd game is homecoming or our September 30th game against Central Arkansas is homecoming. I'm not sure which one is homecoming, but one of these two games are going to be homecoming games, but I'm not sure which one. But I think we're going to win Western Illinois. We'll be 1-3. Um, and I think we'll win by like two scores. I think it would be like 31. I'll say, I'll say 31-17 SUU against Western Illinois. 31-17. We'll be 1-3. And then our next game a week after is home again against Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas is a pretty good football team. I think they're ranked in the FCS, or if they're not ranked in the FCS, then they're for sure on other receiving votes on FCS. So it will be a tougher game, in my opinion, in Western Illinois. But since it's home and that altitude and everything, I think SCU will win. I have a feeling that the Central Arkansas game will be our homecoming, but maybe not. We'll see, because it's just a bigger opponent. And it's a conference game too. Central Arkansas is a conference game. And we are not in the WAC conference in football. Football is the only sport we're not. We're in a new conference called the United Athletic Conference, which is a merger of the WAC conference and the I can't remember the other conference. It's the South Conference though. But yeah, but I think we're gonna beat Central Arkansas. I think it might be a high scoring game, but I think we're gonna win. I'll say SUU 41, Central Arkansas 31. I say we win by 10. 41-31 over Central Arkansas. Now we'll be 2-3, 1-0 in conference, I believe. And then our next game is a road game at Tarleton State. And we played at Tarleton State 2 years ago, our worst season ever. And that was our only win that year when we were 1-10. Our only win, believe it or not, was at Tarleton State. That wasn't a conference game back then, but now it's a conference game. And then last year we should have beaten Tarleton State. We got that onside kick, and if Miller didn't throw that interception, we would have won that game. We would have won probably on a game-winning field goal. So we should have beaten them the last 2 years, but both games were extremely close last 2 years. I could see us winning this game, but at the same time, I could see us losing this game as well. Um, it is a winnable game, but I think Tarleton State will be at least the same good as they were last year, maybe a little bit better. It's on the road. Oh man, this is a pick'em game. If it was home, I would definitely say SUU, definitely if it was home. But I'm probably just for the safe bet. Hopefully they can prove me wrong, but I'll go with Tarleton State in this one. I know, I'll say like 38 to 35, Tarleton State, I'll say. But you never know. Maybe we can win. But now we'll be 2-4, 1-1 in conference. And then we have a bye week after that. And that bye week's gonna fuel us. We're gonna be like, okay, guys, we are better than a 2-4 team. And I think we're gonna just explode after the bye week, in my opinion. Our next game will be October 21st, the home game against Austin Peay State. They're in our conference too. They're part of that merger with that other South Conference. The Austin Peay, I don't know much about them, but I know that they are a school in Tennessee. So I know that they used to be pretty good in football, but I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win by a couple scores. I think it would be like, let's say 38 to 24 SUU over Austin Peay. So now we'll be 3-4, and actually 3-0 at home. Um, And then we have another home game against Abilene Christian, another conference game. That will be an afternoon game in Cedar City on October 28th, right before Halloween. We played at Abilene Christian last year. We barely lost. I think we lost by 3. I think it was 21 to 18 last year, but I think we'll get them this year. I think it'll be like 24 to 17 SUU, 24 to 17 over Abilene Christian. So now what? We'll be 4-4 now this year. Because 0-3, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 3-4. Yeah, we'll be 4-4 after the Abilene Christian game. And then another home game. Wow, we get 3 straight home games in a row. Wow, 3 straight home games against Lincoln University. I think we played Lincoln University last year, and I think we crushed them. I think that's the team that we won our senior night last year. I think it was 55-0. I think it's that same team, but I say it's going to be about the same score again, maybe another shutout, 55-0 or something like that. We should crush them. So that means we'll be 5-4, right? That's not a conference game, Lincoln. That's not a conference game. So I think we'll be 5-4. What will we be in conference? 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. Yeah, right now in conference we'll be 3-1 though. 3-1 in conference, 5-4 overall. And then we have a tough game in Texas again at Stephen F. Austin. We played Stephen F. Austin at home last year. It was that really windy home game where the wind was just so windy. It was cold that day. We barely lost in a shootout. 41 to 38, I think, was the final score. But we almost beat them. Utah Tech beat them last year at Stephen F. Austin. This could be a winnable game. It could be, and we would be due to win a road game. Gosh. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna get a win. We're gonna get a win at Stephen F. Austin. I think it would be like, let's say 34, 34 to 27 SUU over Stephen F. Austin. I heard Stephen F. Austin is gonna take a big hit this year. Like they're not going to be as good as they were the last couple seasons, but they'll still be good. But I mean, it's fine because if I think we're going to get a split, I think we're either going to win at Stephen F. Austin or we're going to win at Tarleton State. One of those games I think we're going to win. But for now, I'll just say we'll beat Stephen F. Austin. So that means we'll be what, 4-1 in conference play, and I think 6-4 overall. I think. Um, And then our last game is against our rival on the road at Utah Tech. We've struggled on the road at Utah Tech and like every single sport for some reason. We can't win at Utah Tech. We lost to them at football last year. We split with them last year. It wasn't a conference game on the road last year though for some reason. It was like a filler game last second. But I think we will beat Utah Tech this time. I think Utah Tech will be the same good or a little bit worse last season, and we're going to be better this season, I think. So I think we're going to beat Utah Tech. I think it would be like 38, SUU 38, Utah Tech, maybe like 24. No, I'll say 38-27, SUU over Utah Tech. So that means that would be another win. So what, 7-4 this year? Yeah, I think we'd be 7-4 because 0-3 after UC Davis, 1-3, 2-3, 2-4, 3-4, 4-4, 5-4, 6-4. Yeah, 7-4 this year, which is not bad. I told you after that brutal start to the season, it would be a turnaround. So I think it will. I think we're going to be undefeated at home this year. At home, we're going to be 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4. We're going to be 5-0 at home this year, I feel like. And then we'll win on the road 0-3, 0-4, 1-4. We'll be 2-4 on the road, which is not that great. But yeah, 7-4 overall. And in conference play, we will be 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-1. We'll be 5-1 in conference play. That might be good enough for us to make the FCS playoffs this year. We'll either be 6-5. At worst case scenario this year, we're going to be 5-6, just like last year. That will be worst case scenario, 5-6. But I think we're going to be better than that. I think at worst we're going to be, or I think we'll be at least 6-5 or better. Who knows? Maybe we'll be undefeated in conference play and be 8-3, and our only losses will be the first 3 games. Who knows? But I'm gonna bank on 7-4. I mean, we improved dramatically last year from 2 years ago. We were 1-10, 1-10 2 years ago, and then last year we were 5-6, a 4-win improvement in our new coaches in Fitzgerald's first year. So I feel like Justin Miller is going to take big steps forward in his last season this year, and then Isaiah Wooden, maybe one of the best FCS receivers in the country. Um, And then our running backs are pretty good. Our offensive line's pretty good. Defense will be a little bit better, I think, than last year. Our punter's pretty good. So yeah, I feel like we have a chance to make. We'll be right on the borderline, I feel like this year, hopefully. We'll be right on the borderline of us making the FCS playoffs or not. But I think next season SUU might be a preseason top 25 FCS team next season. If we make the FCS playoffs this year, we might be. But at worst case, I could see SCU being on other receiving votes to start next season. Not this season, next season in the FCS. If we finish like 7-4 or something like that, I could see us doing that like Idaho last year. But yeah, that's my prediction on how I think this season's going to go. But who knows? We could have a way better record than 7-4, Like if we could somehow beat UC Davis, and then if we could somehow win Tarleton State and somehow beat, Stephen F. Austin, Utah Tech. Those are the 50-50 games. If we could win those games, we could be like 9-2 this year, besides our only losses being these two. Unless somehow we beat Arizona State and our only loss would be BYU. But yeah, hopefully if we start 0-3, hopefully it won't shake our team. Like, dang, we're off to a horrible start. And then hopefully the season won't go downward. I don't think it will, but Yeah, I think we can be 7-6 and I'm shooting for 6-5, 7-4 this year. That's what I'm shooting on. I feel like SU's main goal this year is just to have an overall winning record. SUU has not had a winning record since 2017. It would be our first winning record in 6 seasons, which would be unbelievable. But yeah, that would be it for today's video. And thank you guys for watching as always. Thank you. Let me see if I can turn this off now. All right. Yep. We will see you guys. Thanks for watching.